You're listening to Change Your POV Podcast, episode 76.
So it's like going home again. So this isn't work for me because I'm eating amazing food. I mean, Eddie just sent me a picture of what he had for dinner tonight. And if it's not something that you would like, you're a little crazy. I mean, we're eating clean, awesome food.
Welcome to Change Your POV Podcast, helping you navigate transitions in your life, like entering and exiting college or the military, changing jobs or careers, and providing you with the coaching and mentorship needed to help you advance in your personal or professional life. Sometimes all you need is to change your point of view. Now, here's your host, Eddie Lazary.
Okay, man. I'm ready. Are you ready?
Yeah.
You're going to do the intro? No?
I can never do the intro.
Okay, here we go. Welcome, folks, to Change Your POV Podcast. I am your host, Eddie Lazary.
And I'm Bennett.
And we are here going to talk about 30-Day Well-Fit Challenge. I know we had a previous episode where we kind of talked about what we were planning on doing, but that was actually before we started. And now we are a week into it. And we wanted to kind of...
I guess when this comes out, it'll be 2.
Yeah, when this comes out, it'll be 2. But we're only going to talk about our previous week's history in terms of kind of how it's been and what it's been. And, you know, has it met expectations? Is it easier, harder? All of that. We're just going to kind of go back and forth and talk about it. And then, you know, obviously there's going to be ways where you can figure out, you know, how you can apply this to your own life if you so choose to do so. So before we get into that, we do have to make an announcement about podcast episodes. So for those of you that have been paying attention, you'll notice that last Monday was our first release, and we did not announce this to anybody, Bennett. We just kind of dropped it. We just dropped the mic and walked away, right? We started what's called Motivation Monday. It is literally 3 minutes and, was it 3 minutes, 29 seconds? Something like that. Less than 5 minutes. Less than 5 minutes every Monday. You're going to get Motivation Monday. What it is Bennett and I, we each collected, I don't know, 30 or so. We're going to come up with more, but we initially started with 30 or so quotes that we like.
Inspirational, motivational quotes.
From all different kinds of people. So, you know, just the really important people, though. So I quote Bennett. Bennett quotes me. No, I'm kidding.
Right. Exactly.
So, right. Yeah. It's like At the End of the Day by Bennett.
That's right. Best quote ever.
So we alternate. So Bennett was the first week. He read his quote, and then he talked about what that quote, you know, means to him. And then next week will be my quote, and I talk about what that quote means to me, and vice versa. So every week, Change Your POV is doing the Motivation Monday. So make sure you subscribe on your podcast aggregator so you don't miss any of these episodes. So because before the Motivation Monday, we had episodes that were released Tuesdays and Fridays, but now we have a Monday episode, so we want to spread things evenly. So the Tuesday releases are now going to move to Wednesday. So now you will have Motivation Monday, you'll have the Wednesday episode release, and then Friday. And then, of course, we're still going to be all over Facebook and doing all kinds of crazy things on the website over at Change Your POV. So there you have it, folks. I hope you enjoy it. If you do, please let us know. And how can you let us know?
There's all kinds of ways.
Yeah, how can they let us know?
Well, you can go to our Facebook page.
Yeah.
You can write to us right on our website.
Yep.
You can do all kinds of stuff, man.
You know what would be really cool?
What would be really cool?
What would be really cool is if you folks actually went over to iTunes.
Oh, and yeah, iTunes is the big one.
Yeah, man. Go to iTunes, leave a rating and an honest review, and let us know. Do you dig it? What's up? What episode did you really resonate with? What are some things you want to hear? What are the favorite quotes that you've heard Bennett say over the last 76 episodes? What are some crazy shit that you've heard me say that you liked? Whatever, man. Just, do us a favor, head on over to iTunes and leave us a rating and an honest review, and we'd greatly appreciate it. But yeah,
Yeah, man.
you can find us at all those other places too, as well. Just get involved, get engaged. We're here for you.
That's it. Tell us what you want, for God's
That's
sakes.
it. Tell us what you want.
Because we're running out of stuff.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
just
like
kidding.
me
But
and
anyway.
me and the guys when I was in the army, we go to like the bar to drink or whatever, and it was like a famous, we do a round of whatever Jaeger or whatever we have,
Right.
and it was like, and it literally whatever was available, we were drinking it, and it was like a saying, we'd lift a glass, here's to you, here's to me. If you don't like it, fuck you, here's to me, and we just drink, and yeah. So there you go. That's the way we roll.
That's it.
All right, man. So what are we talking about tonight?
All right. So basically, what this comes down to.
Oh my God, your shit's blowing up.
Oh my God. Anyway, that's the other computer doing weird shit. So anyway, all right. So we have this 30-day challenge going on.
Yes,
and
we do.
We are very busy doing things with said challenge. But what I really want people to understand, and I really want people to get, is that we're not trying to be like fitness gurus or anything like this. All that we are is inspiration to you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that is our goal, and I feel as though the first week was quite successful.
Mm-hmm. You lost 12 pounds. I lost 10.
Right.
Yeah.
I have almost 100 pounds more to lose than you.
Right.
So it kind of makes sense that I would lose more. I probably should have lost 20.
Nah.
I'm just kidding.
12,
but anyway.
Yeah. Dude, do you know how heavy 12 pounds is?
That's a lot of freaking weight, dude.
Yeah, man.
I know.
I mean, I got like a 10-pound dumbbell downstairs.
Yeah.
And I picked that bitch up and I'm like, damn, dude, 10 pounds is no joke, dude.
Joke,
it's no joke.
And it's not water weight. It's not the whatever. I mean, I'm sure part of it is, but what we're doing this whole thing based upon is I know we have the Paleo Primer book as our guide, and frankly, one of the reasons that I chose that book is because it's very simple. It doesn't get into the whole crazy ass science behind this whole thing, because I could talk for hours about the science behind this whole paleo primal lifestyle. And that's the other thing I want to make sure that people understand. We're doing this. Eddie and I decided this is a change. This is a lifestyle change. This is not some fad diet or some fly by night thing. Like this is real deal stuff. I mean, I was paleo for about 2 years. And that was about 2 years ago. And why I got away from it is, frankly, I got out of my zone. My kids won't eat that way. My wife does for the most part, but then what happens is it's kind of easy to fall out of. And in turn, when I did, I gained 80 freaking pounds. 80 pounds. And I feel like crap. Okay. So I'm going back to where I feel my best, where I belong. So it's like going home again. So this isn't work for me because I'm eating amazing food. I mean, Eddie just sent me a picture of what he had for dinner tonight. And if it's not something that you would like, you're a little crazy. I mean, we're eating clean, awesome food. It's not really costing us any more than it normally would. I mean, are you finding that, Eddie?
Well, yes and no, and here's why I say that. money. Okay, so before I used to go to the grocery store like once a week or maybe once every week and a half, and just load up the basket full of stuff that would eventually, I would come home and I would put in the pantry or in a freezer, right?
Right.
And it was all processed stuff. It was pastas. It was, you know, all of that stuff that we used to all eat. But now with eating clean means you're eating fresh produce and fresh, meats and things like that. So the cost isn't more, but what I ended up doing, because my shopping habits were, let's go buy what we need for a week and a half. My first week, I will be honest, my first week I went and bought like I bought a bunch of stuff that would last me a week, but the problem is the food don't last that long because it's fresh
Right.
food.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yes, I
So
do.
some of that I had to end up throwing away. So it cost me more this first go around. But like, okay, here's an example. So when we first started, I went to the grocery store and I bought $90 worth of stuff to get me going. Made, a lot of meals. There are some meals you can make ahead of time and pack away for lunches for a week or whatever, and that's what I did. But some of the other stuff, by the time I got to use it, it wasn't any good. I mean, strawberries don't keep for a week.
No,
You know what
but
I'm saying? They just
there are tricks though.
there are,
D
yeah, but that's part of the learning curve with
Right.
this whole diet thing. I'm not used to it, and so it's a learn as I go kind of thing, and I'm not making all the great choices, but I'm learning. So tonight on the way home from work, so that's the other thing too. I can't shop once every week and a half. I've got to go like every 3 or 4 days.
Right.
So I got to shop more frequently. So that's part of the lifestyle change. Okay, I'm fine with that. Now I'm getting my rhythm. And so tonight I went and bought stuff, and I only spent $30.
Right.
So I'll end up spending the same amount. It'll just be broken up a little bit over time. Do you
Gotcha.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And one of the things that I realize, and I express this to my wife, and I always, show her, like, listen, you don't waste food. Like I haven't, you don't waste anything. At least I don't.
Right.
I mean, you do if you miscalculate like that, but if you buy food every few days, you won't, you know.
Right. Well, so here's the good part. I mean, it wasn't any good for me to eat, but I did throw it outside for my chickens to eat. So my chickens ate really, really good. But here you go, right? This weekend, I'm gonna be butchering 3 of my roosters.
That's nice.
And
That's
yes.
fantastic food.
And so I'm gonna be eating them suckers. And I
And you know
might
what?
catch
That's
what?
that's like the best kind. That's exactly what this paleo primal diet's about.
Hell yeah.
Is that type of free range chicken,
Yeah. I've never had one.
grass fed
So
beef.
I'm telling you, this is gonna be interesting to see what an actual like fresh butchered like ate nothing but like my chickens are free range. I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
we got some like regular grain and corn and stuff that we throw out here and there, but they're literally walk around and they're just they're eating
yeah.
bugs
They
and
eat the
ticks and
bugs and the
spiders and
worms and the
whatever.
whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, buddy.
So I might capture some of that on Facebook Live. And what'll be funny is I can already hear it, right? People are gonna be bitching their asses off when they see like me butchering a chicken like on Facebook Live. Seriously, right? They're gonna be calling
Yeah,
PETA on my
yeah.
ass or
If
whoever,
Facebook will
right?
even post it.
They're gonna be like, oh my god. But here's the kicker. They're gonna be bitching at me while they're sitting in their car with a 20-piece nugget, right?
Right,
That son of a bitch,
right.
how dare he
Exactly.
kill that you know what I'm
Or,
saying?
they don't eat meat, and
Right. I won't actually capture the killing, but I might get into like the defeathering and the butchering and the cooking and
yeah,
all
of
that.
course, as you should.
Yeah.
There's no reason to film the killing. Just saying.
well, there are plenty of reasons,
Why?
but I won't.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, again, lifestyle. I mean, whenever I lived here prior, I had a gigantic garden. And that's kind of goes hand in hand with the chicken type thing, if you're able to raise your own food, you should do so, because at least you know where your freaking food's coming from.
Right.
So I get knee deep into this shit. I get really excited about it.
Yeah. So wait, but before you go down that road, though, I just got to get into like, I know we just started this a week ago, but like, why now? Why? What changed? Did anything change? Like, what? It had to have been more than just a, oh, so what are you doing? Nothing. Oh, let's do this life, like whole life. Like, what happened in your life, or did anything happen? Like, why now?
I just got fed up, man. I'm the heaviest I've ever been. Part of it is we moved again, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I had movers to help and whatnot, but I ended up doing a shit ton of the work myself, right?
Yeah.
And when you weigh 300 pounds, that shit hurts.
Mm.
Um, and I can't play, I just can't do the things with my kids that I want to do. And I'm not getting any younger. And, but I'm not old, and I don't want to feel like I'm old. And I do,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm huge. And shit is just hard when you are so heavy.
Do
And
people treat you any
oh,
different?
hell yeah.
Yeah.
I guarantee that there's certain things that don't get offered to me, or don't get I don't get the same respect. I mean, I'm from a really tough community in the military,
Yep.
as you know. And no matter how good of a reconnaissance marine I was, or an infantry soldier, if they look now and see me, they're like, "Ooh, what the fuck happened to that guy?" You
Mm.
know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I guarantee it. Now, a lot of that's me, because I'm ashamed uh, of what I've gotten to. My heart's still there,
Mm-hmm.
um, but it just, it got away from me, and that's what happens. I guarantee you that most of the people listening have the same issues, and that's why we're doing. At least that's why I'm doing this. I know
Yeah.
your reasoning is very similar.
Yeah.
And it's never too late. It was time for action. We decided, um, it was time, and why wouldn't we?
Mm-hmm. And so when you brought this up about doing
Yeah.
this, and I, pro-
And that was just nuts. And we were like, really? This is what
yeah, what did you think when I proposed we let it all out there for the world to see
I
as
was
part of this
excited.
kind of
I
a,
was like, hell yeah, man. Cause I know, number one, that if it was me on the other side of this, I would be very motivated by it.
yeah,
That's just how I work.
right.
And I thrive off of that type of adversity.
Mm-hmm.
So if I watch somebody else that's sucking harder than me, usually pushes me harder. You
Right.
know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
when you're in the field in the military, you
Mm-hmm.
go out and you just see dudes just sucking. Like, because it
Right.
sucks. It's raining, and it's like, if it ain't raining, you ain't training, that kind of thing. And
Mm-hmm.
in the infantry, the rain was our friend, because it covered our movements, and we would go out in it.
Right.
Just sucked. But you know what? I was that guy. And that's why people hated me being a team leader sometimes, is because I had zero, especially when the suckier it got, the more motivated I was.
Yep. Me too.
So that's how it is now. That's how it is with
Yeah.
this. Because I know when I see a video of you at like 5 in the morning, I'm like, fuck yeah. Because I'm right there with you. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Sitting there
Got my
watching,
headlamp
almost
on.
dying,
Hell yeah.
because I might have, like, during the other night, I had, you know, too many drinks. And that's one of my issues. And I've been working on not drinking. But I still woke up at 4:45. Oh my God. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
dying. And by the time I got done with my workout, I felt awesome.
Yeah. Absolutely. Every time,
Remember
huh?
that, it's
Yep.
I'm motivated to get up every morning. And frankly, what's funny is it just keeps getting easier. So today
Mm.
was probably the best morning I've had since we
Right.
started, and I went out and rocked it out. I actually went out and worked out for an entire hour.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't too, because you don't want to kick it off too hard. You're
Right.
talking 50 to 75% of your max heart rate. You
Right.
don't want to get any more than that. Um, it's about, not killing yourself, because too often, especially with physical activity, we overtrain. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
God, man, what the hell do we have to overtrain for?
Right.
Right?
Right. Yeah. I
I
mean,
think going out and walking for 45 minutes is enough. I think
anything. Yeah.
10, 15 minutes of sprints is enough
I
at,
mean,
at our age and our freaking,
and that's the thing, right? With this challenge, anything was more than we were doing before, right? At work, I got like a 20-minute break. I'll get out. Before I used to just power through my breaks. I wouldn't get up and stretch my legs. Like, everyone else was breaking and I was just like, oh, I'm too busy. I'm too busy. But you know what? All that was me being too busy was all in my head. It was all in my head.
See,
I,
usually you
you know,
hear
and
that
yeah,
there's drinks, right? Usually it's whiskey,
yeah.
and now it's water with freaking lime in it.
Amen, brother.
But
But you know what? How, the only way to get from here to there is one step at a time, and it just starts with starting. You got to start. You got to start somewhere, and you just got to keep moving. And that's what we've decided to do. And you're right. It's gotten a week and a half now, and man, there's been good days. There's been bad days. There's been,
well, it's like,
you
what's our
know,
upcoming guest, Ryan Mickler? He lives
yeah,
by that mantra: action,
mhm, right,
action. I mean, if you think it, just go do it. At least try. Because
yeah.
what's the worst thing that can happen? You fail.
And so
Big fucking deal. Get
and so
up.
we put everything. So we put everything out there for the world to see on the website, and we have what we're calling daily journal. So how's the daily journaling been for you? Hmm.
When I'm able to keep up with it.
Yeah.
Um, it really makes me think about this whole thing. But what it really forces me to do is get back into that type of like teaching mode,
Mm-hmm.
where I just want to impart my experience upon people. Not saying that
Right.
their experience will be the same, but at least they have an understanding that it's not sunshine and rainbows and
Right.
unicorn turds all over the joint. You know, that it really is about the work. If you want it, you got to go do it, and you got to put the work in. But you'll be better for it because of it. I mean, it's really
Yeah.
that simple. It's so simple. Doesn't mean it's easy, but it's fucking simple.
Right. And what about these weekly challenges that we've kind of sprinkled in the mix of all of this?
Well, it just kind of makes us think about different stuff, especially the, you know, the
So talk about your challenge.
flamethrower. So I had to burn
Yeah.
up a piece of clothing that reminded me of being extra fat, and I had a T-shirt that was an extra fat T-shirt. The funny part of this whole T-shirt, all right, so it was a Ranger Up T-shirt that I've had for, I don't know, the better part of probably 7, 8 years, maybe more.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the first Ranger Up T-shirt I ever owned. All right,
Yeah.
and it was a double XL, huge thing. But it was a shirt with like the Liberty tree on it,
Mm-hmm.
with Thomas Jefferson's quote that, the Liberty tree must be revived from time to time with the blood of tyrants and, whatever. I don't remember
Right.
the exact quote, right?
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
kind of fitting, to an extent. So we have a burn, like a chimney thing out in the backyard, and I had this flamethrower thing that I had given to my father-in-law a time back. And I said, oh, I'm gonna burn this son of a bitch up. So actually the funny part is I should have filmed after that too, because we had these like tomato plants that weren't that far from the burnt from the, if you had a regular fire in the chimney, it'd be fine. But we had all this wood because we had rebuilt my brother-in-law's back steps. So we had all this wood thrown on the fire, and you could see that during the torching. Well, that all ended up going up, and next thing I know, man, we're looking. First off, the fire was like the flames were coming out of the chimney, like the top part.
Yeah.
And then the next thing we realize is that the pots for the tomato plants are melting because that's how hot the freaking fire was.
Yeah.
So that was pretty funny.
You got some roasted tomatoes?
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
They're good. They're still good.
That's awesome.
Issues.
And my challenge for the week is Bennett had me come up with a list of ingredients that were my favorite
10
of them.
Which ended up being 11, but
yeah, 10 of them. 3 meats, 5 vegetables, and 3 condiments equals 10 items. So I had to come up with these ingredients before he told me what I was going to do with them. And so now the second part of the challenge this week is I've got to create 12 recipes using these ingredients, which might sound like an easy task to do, but you go ahead and think of 12 things or 11 things or 10, whatever, 10 things, but without knowing what you're going to do with them and then trying to do something with them afterwards. It's like, have you ever seen that game or not game, that show, was it Chopped?
Yes.
Right, where you get like these mystery ingredients, and they've got
like Master Chef or whatever.
Yeah.
Here you go. I need you to use pickled freaking salmon assholes or whatever. You know what I mean? That's your ingredient. Or Iron Chef. That was another one that was like that.
Pickled assholes.
I don't know why that came in my head. I'm just a sick bastard.
Well, that's what it's like. So now, between now and the end of the week, I got to come up with these. Was it 12 recipes? You said,
yeah,
and put them on the website. So I'm working on them. So I worked on one tonight. It was. I'll just tell the audience what it was. It was It was a fried. It was ground chicken patty, like a hamburger, but with ground chicken, and then we just put that on the plate by itself, no bread. Obviously, we're keeping this all paleo. And then on top of the burger was an over easy egg. And then there was a couple slices of avocado. And there was some sliced cherry tomatoes. And on top of that, sauteed onions was on top of that. And then on top of that was blue cheese. And oh my God, dude, that was so good. So I made it for me and my son and his girlfriend, and they all loved it. And so because I'm scrambling to get all these recipes done, I looked at before I came up here to record, I looked at my son and his girlfriend. I'm like, all right, we're having steak and eggs tomorrow because those are 2 of my ingredients. So we're having steak and eggs for breakfast tomorrow. And they're like, okay. so I'm trying to get all 12 done between now and then.
Well, and one of the things that I'll say too is that I am also coming up with recipes as well. So it's not like Eddie's all alone.
Yeah, you've already done some.
I'm coming up with a bunch as well,
So what have been, okay, let's real quick go through, I don't know, you give me three and I'll give 3 struggles with this challenge so far, and then we'll each give 3 like positive things that have come of it so far that we didn't probably expect.
All right. So challenges for me have been this trying to get on top of the alcohol consumption. not that it was some kind of like, it's like I'm alcoholic or anything, but my family has a tendency to like drink and kind of be merry, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And in turn, I do the same. So, and it wouldn't be every single night, but it's enough that it's detrimental. And as soon as I drop it, I know I start dropping weight. You know what I mean? So I've switched more over to only drinking like one day or one night a week. And I've changed what it is from like more, I'm a whiskey drinker, so I like that, but more to like tequila
Okay.
or wine.
Is it because you find yourself you don't drink as much of that if that's what you're drinking?
Well, that, and it's not grain. It's not grain based alcohol.
Okay.
Tequila's agave, obviously, and wine is grapes.
Right.
And the paleo primal type of thing is very anti-grain. There's a lot of, it's anti-grain. And so you can drink stuff that doesn't really come from grain, but obviously it's a matter of not going in excess. It's a matter of moderation,
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's been a challenge for me. I didn't think it would be, but it is. Battling through the soreness has been kind of rough, because I didn't think I would be so freaking sore, but I am. And the third is sometimes I really do like, sometimes I just want to have like a hamburger from McDonald's or something like that. I haven't. And I find those cravings going down daily. So it's just one of those things, is getting it out of my system. Right. Those have been my 3 biggest struggles.
For me, my 3 so far have been, I think the first one would be getting up in the morning. I am a habitual snooze button smacker. Like, I don't know how my alarm has survived as long as it has, but I could hit the snooze button 15, 20 times before I actually got up, which is ridiculous, I know. So it's still been I've had better days. Some days have been harder than others, but I still struggle with that. But once I actually do get up and I get my, my gear on and go outside and start the work, like I'm great. I'm solid. And then after the workout, dude, I feel like 100%. You know what I mean? So I know that I'm going to feel awesome. It's just getting my ass out of bed that's been a challenge.
Yeah, sometimes you just want to be like,
yeah,
health,
just, it's like, and then so that'd be my first one. My second one is just figuring out the diet thing. I mean, I've worked out. I was in the Army for 10 years, did PT like I know how to work out. It's just the fact that I just don't is kind of what led me to where I am, right? And being the way that I am, and unhealthy and all that. So, but to get back into actually working out, like getting out and running and stretching, like I know how to do all of that. That's easy. It's like riding a bike. But the diet thing, I've never ate clean ever in my whole life. I've never ate clean. In the Army, it's not about eating clean; it's eating whatever's available. They show up with
Right.
Mermites in the back of the Humvee,
Absolutely, man. Yeah.
and that's what you're eating, man. You know what I mean? And a lot of people are bitching and crying about the food in the if you're in the military and you're bitching about the food, wait until you get out. You're gonna think back on those instant potatoes and gravy, and you're gonna wish you had some someday, because I do. But anyway, I know that's crazy, right? But I think back on the Army food. Some of it just wasn't that bad.
Some of it wasn't that bad, especially like
some
in
of it was.
I always had a really good salad bar and stuff.
Yeah, some of it was horrific, but yeah. So the diet thing kind of threw me for a loop because I've never eaten clean, so it's really forced me to think about what it is I'm putting in my mouth. And that's part of a lot of the reasons why I made these bracelets. So anytime I bring my hand to my mouth, I can look at my bracelet and remember what the hell I'm doing. And so I can look at my food in my hand and say, does this, basically do a mental yes, no, check the box kind of a thing. Is this a paleo food or not? And even just for me, learning what is a paleo food and what isn't, it was, a challenge for me. So you've got your basics like, oh, it's easy. It's meat, it's vegetables, it's, water. Okay. And fruit. I get it, but there's some fruits that are more, nutrient dense than other fruits. Some, you know what I'm saying? So
Absolutely.
learning that kind of thing, it's been a challenge for me.
Oh, and
Uh,
it'll continue too. And you and I haven't
yeah,
even scratched the surface. So,
yeah,
and that was one of the reasons, like I was saying earlier, that I chose the book that I chose
right.
because it's such a simple overview,
It is, and it's diverse too. So it gives you
right?
all kinds of
But
options.
it
There's
doesn't
no,
get into the weeds really bad. It
yeah,
just says why. It says this is why grains are bad. You shouldn't eat them. Here's some alternatives. But it
right,
doesn't get
right,
into the science on it, which,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't need all the science. Just,
Oh, we'll
tell
get
me,
there,
yeah.
but
But right now,
it'll
I
be
just,
between you and
yeah,
I.
right. Right now, I don't need the science. I just need to figure out the diet thing, which I'm getting there. And then the third thing that I struggle with, I think, is so my first one is getting up. The second one is this the diet, and the third one has been the I would say the soreness, but you already said that. I'd have to say it would be um the with this challenge in general. It's caused me to I've been struggling with scheduling my time, I guess, because before grabbing something quick on the way home from work from McDonald's was an easy thing to do, right? Now I got to come home and actually prepare a meal and eat it. So it takes a little bit more of my time to do. It's definitely worth the sacrifice and the investment that you put in time, but it's forced me to kind of restructure other things that I have going on, right? Because I've got a mastermind group, I've got, podcast recordings, there's things that I'm working on when I'm at work and when I'm home that before I didn't have to, I already knew what my schedule looked like because my eating never got in the way, but now it's a little bit in the way just because of the prep time and things. But I'm working it out, and it's definitely worth it. But it has been a challenge, and it's something you're just gonna have to kind of work through. So now give me three positive things, Bennett, that or three things that are going well or positive things that you didn't expect or anticipate going into this.
How much weight I'm actually losing
Mm.
is number one. You know, you always hear that number 2 to 3 pounds a week,
Mm-hmm.
and then you go, holy crap, I just lost 12 pounds.
Right.
And I can almost guarantee you that I'm over 2 to 3 already this week.
Mm. Nice.
I don't know. I haven't gotten on the scale, but I can just tell. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So then, so that's number one. And just like that, I guess the second is that this whole thing, once you've done it and you've gone through the whole process of like cleaning your body out
Mm.
of all the
Yeah.
shit, it's like riding a bike.
Mm.
And like, just like exercise is,
Right.
that your body truly remembers and knows how to react.
Mm-hmm.
You probably don't have that because, like you said, you've never eaten clean in your whole life. Um,
Right.
so that's number two, and then number three really is just the amount of support that we're getting, uh, especially on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
That type of
Yeah.
thing, is that we're getting. I mean, I've got people I haven't heard from in years, and like, way to go, awesome stuff. Listening to the videos and just people, encouragement. It's
Right.
good to hear that, and yeah, man. So I didn't really expect it to be as popular as it is.
Right. That's cool. So my three is that I didn't expect is I didn't think just changing the diet would be as impactful as it has been on the way I feel. So like before I had like really like constant like gastronal, I don't even know what to get, but like I was bloated all the
Just
time. And
gastrointestinal issues.
yeah,
Because
just
it's
like
because you were
all the
eating a
time.
grain-based diet.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was eating stuff for myself once a day, and it was before I went to bed.
Yeah,
And so
just
like,
everything
oh my
wrong.
God, it was
It's horrible.
it was just terrible. I hated it. Bugged the shit. I mean, and I thought, well, that's just part of getting old. That's just what happens. But I didn't really think, but I started eating clean, and after a week, like all that went away. Like I don't have any of that anymore, which is craziness. Another thing that I'm noticing, the second thing that I didn't expect, like every once in a while, like I would break out with like a great big zit, like on my arm, or like
Just
on
some
like
random fuck.
just some random place. It just like just you know what I mean? Not like acne, but like just great big like just zit. It's like oh my God. But I used to get them like I started getting them like more regularly. And I don't know. Again, I just attributed it to just growing old, whatever. But as soon after this week, like I can I can tell that my skin
Yeah, you've
is
got like a glow, man.
yeah, it feels like it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like a lot of the like the skin type of stuff has is kind of
If
gone
we got
away.
into the science, that would make complete sense.
Oh
Just so
well,
you know.
okay. So that was something I
And
didn't
it's the same with
expect
the
to happen.
gastrointestinal stuff too.
Really? Okay. So that's the second thing, and then the third thing, um, is um food tastes different now. But I can't explain it, but like I think I said something in one of my Facebook videos like before like a cherry tomato was a cherry tomato. I didn't give a shit what color it was, right? It was a cherry tomato and it all tasted the same to me. But now after a week of eating clean, it's like I have this I'm also a painter. Did you know I paint, Bennett?
Yes.
Okay, so I also paint. So it's kind of like when you're painting with three colors, right? You can make a pretty cool painting with three colors. But then all of a sudden, after 40 years of painting with three colors, now all of a sudden somebody hands me a palette of 36 colors, and it's like, holy shit, what can I do with these, right?
Right.
That's
Yeah,
kind of the
man.
way. That's what it tastes like now. Food, like I can have, like I got a variety pack of cherry tomatoes, and they're all the different types and colors and flavors and stuff,
And they
and they all
all
have
taste different.
they all taste different, dude. I
Whereas in
had
other
no, I
people are like,
had no idea.
tomato is a tomato.
Right. Well,
Yeah,
that's
well,
what I
no, it's
thought.
not.
Yeah. So just having a different palette, I think, is been something unexpected that
Now,
I've
the
experienced.
other thing that it's done for you that I will put out there because I know because you and I have talked about it because you're only giving three, but is that you're being more adventurous with the food that
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah. There was my son and I were standing at the deli tonight, and we're picking up some stuff for my challenge that I'm working on this week. And there was this like other meat that I asked him. I said, "What's that?" He goes, "I don't know." I'm like, I'll take a half a pound of that, please." Because like,
exactly. Yeah,
you
man.
know what I
I
mean? Because
do.
it's like I want to like taste this. Yeah, I don't know why I don't know, man. It was
And
just
those good fatty meats, those
yeah,
are good as long as they and you can do like processed meats. It's just a
yeah,
matter of really trying to get the ones that aren't you want to stay away from nitrates and things like that.
mm,
But yeah, man. You know, eat some bacon. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. Some real
Yeah.
like
But
you know.
again, it's about moderation. You can't eat
Right,
bacon with I mean, you can, but it's not, it shouldn't be your sole source of whatever.
right,
You should treat bacon like a fat. Um,
right.
because that's basically what this diet is about. It's about fat, good fats, of course.
Well, that's a thing that I didn't know before.
Saturated fats are
Well, I
not
read this.
bad.
Well, I was reading this book, and they said one of the most common misconceptions is fat does not make more fat.
No.
Fat does not generate fat. So you're not getting fat because you're eating, fat. You're getting fat because you're the all of the foods combined that you're eating, your body is reacting in such a way where it's
Well, it's excess glucose.
Right, exactly.
So
Yes.
everything comes down to glucose and glycogen and glucose. So everything gets broken down to that, and that's what your body basically uses for energy. Well, there are other sources. Again, I'm gonna get into science, but you've got ketosis, you've got ketones, and then but basically you have ketones and you have glucose. You know what I mean? Now there are other sources of fuel for the body, but those are the two main ones. And if you don't use all the glucose, guess what happens to it? It gets stored as fat.
Yeah.
So what converts to fat easier, or what converts to glucose easier, fat or carbohydrates? And the answer is carbohydrates, like 10-1.
Yeah.
Sugar and pasta and just grains in general convert pretty easily.
Right.
So if you eat a pound of pasta, you know what I mean? It's kind of pretty simple. But anyway, I'm not going to get off deep in.
So yeah, we're going to save that for. So we're wrapping. We're running out of time here, so we're wrapping up.
I'm just going to give you the 10 laws really quick.
Oh yeah, give me the 10 laws.
It's real.
Is this similar to the same 10 that God gave us, or are these a little different?
These are way different.
Okay.
Sort of different. I don't know. Whatever. So number 1 is eat plants and animals.
Well, where did you get this, first of all?
This is from the Primal Blueprint. This is from a gentleman named Mark Sisson, who really is one of the leaders in the primal paleo realm.
And you're going to give me this link so I can put it in the show notes?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
So law number 1 is eat plants and animals, because that's what as humans, that's what we're the most evolved to eat, is fatty meat, complete protein from animal products, supporting development of our complex brains, right? So if you look at most great apes, like a mountain gorilla will sit in the mountains eating vegetation for 12 hours to get enough nutrition to support their entire bodies. Well, we decided that all of a sudden, hey, we're going to eat some meat. Right. And the next thing you know, boom, we turn into what we turn into, right? Now, people can say, evolution is crap or whatever, but we're not going to get into that. That's what we've developed into, okay? Is beings that thrive on eating animals and plants, not and when I say plants, I mean vegetables. All right.
Right.
Not grains.
Right.
Okay. That's, the advent of agriculture changed stuff around a lot. Law 2 is avoid poisonous things, meaning grains of all manner, wheat, corn, rice, pasta, cooking grains, breakfast cereals, industrial chemically altered oils like partially hydrogenated, corn oil and things like that. Literally, you can take radiation and you can take hydrogenated oil, and they have about the same poison level to your body. All right. Now, obviously differing levels of radiation, but I'm just saying it's almost as bad as it is, and then highly sweetened, like sodas and even fruit juice. It's just like straight sugar. And to our body, it's basically poison because our body can't handle it. Our liver can't handle it. You know what I mean? Yeah. This is why alcohol is bad too. At the end of the day, it does things that it shouldn't, that our body shouldn't have to deal with. Law 3 is to move frequently at a slow pace. And that comes to the point where walking, hiking, things like that are really good things to do because they don't get our heart rate up. They're not high impact, but they also get us moving, which is what our hunter gatherer ancestors did a lot of, obviously, because they were foraging and hunting and, law 4 is lift heavy things. Brief, intense exercise sessions involving functional full body movements support muscle development and delay aging, because it releases certain hormones, things like that. So we're only talking like 10 to 30-minute strength training sessions a week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is what we do as part of our workout. Law number 5 is sprint once in a while. All right. So that means literally go out like once or twice a week and just do some brief sprinting intervals. Right.
Yep.
And that does good things with certain hormones, that the fight or flight response is activated, with adaptive hormones and whatnot into our bloodstream that just do good things for us. Okay. And again, we could get into the science, but I'm not going to go there. Law number 6 is get adequate sleep. So you want to try and get as close to the rising and setting of the sun, to help govern your circadian rhythms, right?
Right.
And I know that we have the whole getting up with the sun thing down after this week, but we probably should go to bed a little earlier than we do. But we're sitting up recording podcasts, so that's what ends up happening. And really with that, you should minimize artificial light and things like that within like a half an hour of your bedtime. You'll just fall to sleep easier and you'll sleep better.
And that artificial light includes the light from my cell phone?
Yes. Yeah. So if you're going to read at night, you should actually read from a book. Like if you're going to lay in bed and read, you should actually read it from an actual book. Okay. And have like a soft light, right, to read by. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Law 7 is play. So get out there with your kids, get out there with your dog, play fetch, wrestle, play frisbee, freaking play golf. So when I say, do all kinds of different stuff. If you want to go rappelling, go rappel, or like look at the video that I made, go ride for a bike and ride on a bike or whatever. Do things like you did when you were younger, kind of act like a teenager again, once in a while. And it also, believe it or not, it'll improve social bonds and yada, 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 the whole thing, especially with your kids. Law number 8 is get adequate sunlight. And this kind of goes hand in hand with play. Get outside into the sun. Vitamin D helps regulate growth in virtually every cell of your body and prevents a variety of diseases. And unfortunately, in today's indoor dominant lifestyles, especially with kids and devices and stuff like that, I'm not saying that it doesn't have a place, but if they want to get on their device, there's a time and a place for it, but there's also a time and a place for them to go out, get out of the house, come back when the lights come on. You know what I'm saying? Get out there and get some vitamin, because sunlight is what triggers the vitamin D production in our bodies. Yep. All right. And law 9 is avoid stupid mistakes, meaning the hazards that befell our primal ancestors, like saber-toothed tigers and things like that, for the most part, are gone. But we have our own type of avoidable suffering, I guess is what you could call it. You know what I mean? So don't go out there and just don't do dumb stuff. A lot of times our what we do, especially like when we're driving, we have this false sense of security when at any given moment, truly, our life could just end, right? Right. Yeah. So just avoid stupid mistakes, and you'll feel, like doing things like running without stretching out or dumb shit like that. Trust me, I know from experience. Yeah. And then the last thing is use your brain engage in creative and stimulating activities to nurture your mental health and overall well-being. That's
Yeah.
makes sense, right?
It's like, I mean, listening to podcasts, playing Sudoku, like there's 100,000
Just
ways.
get out there and create, paint, do whatever. We've
Yeah.
been talking about this. Grab a sketchbook, start drawing.
Mm.
Get out there and take pictures. Make
Yeah.
videos, do whatever. I mean, you and I do stuff like this all day long, and it's not just because it starts out because we love it, but you also realize that it's very beneficial. So
Right. Right.
so really those are the main laws of primal living in today's society. I could go into it way deeper, but why? So if you do, we'll have the link in our show notes.
Yeah, man. That's cool. So the plan is then for us to kind of do a weekly check-in like this on a podcast. So everyone that is participating can kind of hear about our progress. And they could see it on the website too. But to hear it, us break it down kind of week by week.
And I think next week we'll probably talk about we'll really kind of get into the weeds on the whole food thing.
Okay.
Because I know that that's the part that people really have issues with.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll talk a little bit about why. We'll talk a little bit about what to eat, what not to eat. There's things that are okay. There's gray areas, but you know what I mean?
Right. Right.
But yeah, that'll kind of clarify some things.
And at the end of the day, if you're doing this, folks, and you slip up and whatever.
Oh,
man, you have a piece.
It's gonna happen.
It's like you don't get to 309 pounds in a day. You're not going to lose it in a day. You're not going to make that much of an impact in one day. It takes time. It takes time
2 years to gain it.
Right.
And I mean, I'm going to lose it in less than a year. I'm convinced of that, but that's because I'm working really hard,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it takes work, man. There's no magic pill. There's no dietary if I, no, that's all bullshit.
It's truly lifestyle change. You have to change it. It's not a diet.
Nope, not a diet.
Your freaking lifestyle, period.
Yeah. And that's the thing is I hate calling it a paleo diet because it's not what I'm doing.
That's why we call it a paleo lifestyle.
There you go. I'm eating that's it. Except changing a lifestyle. So, man, that wraps it up, dude. We have completely run out of time. But so should we talk about the 60-day, or will she say that for next episode?
Save it for the next one.
All right, folks. There's a teaser for you. We got something in the works that you might like. Pay attention. Next week, we're going to unveil that. Hopefully, in the meantime, enjoy the Motivation Mondays. Tell us what you think about that. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. If you want to check out all of our episodes, make sure that you head on over to iTunes and subscribe. You can do that not just on iTunes, but any of your podcast aggregators that you may enjoy, like Stitcher, Player FM, whatever you use. I use on my phone. I don't use iTunes on my phone. I use Overcast as my podcast aggregator for my iPhone.
What's the new one now we've got that we're on Google, right?
Oh, Google AirPlay.
AirPlay, which hasn't really taken hold, but
we're there. We're there.
People need to check it out because it is actually kind of cool. So
yeah,
but
I don't use
iTunes
it a whole lot yet. But
so
yep,
iTunes is the one. So
let's
rate
get
and
it done.
review the podcast.
Yeah, man, love to hear your thoughts. And you want to come be part of our community, check out what we've got going on. We got all kinds of crazy videos like Bennett torching his fat shirt. head on over to Change Your POV and Facebook. Just type in Change Your POV and it'll pop up. You'll see our logo and there'll be our videos on there and a bunch of other crazy stuff. And that's it, man. Thanks for joining this week. I am really thrilled, everybody. Like Bennett said, so much support and people just coming out and just cheering us on and saying, being there and participating too. We got a lot of people that are wanting to get involved because they're struggling through some of this too, and they want to make a lifestyle change as well. It's not about, if you're looking for that hard rock beach body or whatever that, men's fitness magazine.
Yeah, I think you're asking the wrong guys.
Yeah, we're not. We're the wrong. Go somewhere else for that. That's not what we're doing. We're doing the
health and longevity. That's what this is all about.
It's the lifestyle change. It's the yeah, exactly. So that's it, man.
Thanks for listening to Change Your POV podcast with Eddie Lazary. Check out more content by going to changeyourpov.com. And remember, your ability and willingness to change your point of view will open doors of opportunity.
I'm going to have to edit the shit out of this.
You always say that, and then you never do. So
I know. I'm going to leave that part with your kids coming in, too.
Oh,
I'm just
Jesus. Oh, you can. I don't give a shit. Whatever. It's real life. I guess that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah, so. It's real. It was awesome. Talk about background noise. That was
oh my God, just
like a tornado.
Right. Boom.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know what? Here's the deal, dude. I know it's easy to get frustrated with our kids. Believe me, I do all the time too. But man, someday you'll look back and you'll miss those crazy
of course,
days.
And I do already.
I was just the other day I was watching some videos of my son when he was little and being rambunctious, and now he's like a junior in college and about to go start his own life, and it's like, damn, it's like you can't never get those years back.
That's right.
You can't, man. You can't. So
that's where my video making started, because I have videos from that I've made their whole life. So,
oh, really?
Yeah. So
that's cool.
Hell to the yes.
So love the kids. Yep.
Yeah.
Not always happy with them, but love the shit up. That's for sure.
So yeah, that's the other thing about this, is that it's about keeping it real, and that we are exposing who we are, not just what we want you to see.
Right.
So we're talking about editing, but fuck a bunch of editing. Love ya.
I might take that one part out where you're booting that one up the stairs.
Oh yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Boot them down the stairs.
Down the stairs.
It's still screaming. You hear him back there?
Yeah.
Jesus.
All right, folks. Until next time.